This time of year brings so much joy with it. But there's also some really big struggles that come along with the holiday season, especially when it comes to children who might have big emotions or struggling with behavior or are not neurotypical. Now, when we go through this, here's a few tips that might help you through the season because we want this season to be wonderful. And there's definitely some stuff that we can do as families that can help those children be more regulated and have a greater opportunity of enjoying the holiday season and creating really great lasting memories with their family. The very first thing is creating a consistency with a diet. This time of year, we increase sugar a great amount. There's cookies, there's candy, there's all the delicious stuff. But when we increase our sugar and we stray away from maybe what they've been eating the rest of the year, especially for those picky eaters, sugar seems to be something that's very delicious and they tend to want to increase it. So when we go away from the typical diet and start increasing that sugar, we also increase the inflammation in their gut and the inflammation in their brain. So obviously that can lead to a little bit more struggles in regulating their nervous system and their responses to different situations. So when we create a really good consistency leading up and really save the sweet treats into only like certain times, 1 day, 2 days of this whole season, and very little bits leading up to it, it can create a better chance for those kids to be better regulated, especially keeping the inflammation low. In addition, I would recommend, even for picky eaters, this, if you start practicing now, it can be very beneficial, is a little spoonful of bone broth a day. You can buy the bone broth at the store, or you can make it at home. Lots of options depending on the family and what works best for you guys. But one spoonful of bone broth can add a lot of extra nutrients, and oftentimes it goes down pretty well and is pretty yummy. So it's one of the best things you can do to add nutrients in, as well as create consistency leading up to all the holidays with the sugar. The second thing is creating consistency in routine. So when we lead up to the holidays, we find our school systems are up and down with the days open, so we don't have our regular schedule. But if we can stick with the schedule, the same wake up time, the same bedtime, the same eating time, the same activities, especially for different children who struggle with transitions or anything that's surprising or not predictable. We want to give those kids a really good chance at being able to handle the surprises of, say, Santa or different changes when it comes to the routine of actual Christmas Day or other holidays. So what we want to do is leading up to it is create that consistency because it allows for predictability and their nervous system is a lot calmer and they're able to handle the unexpectedness that comes for one day versus having an up and down leading up to it, which could cause more meltdowns the day of Christmas. So that predictability also creates a sense of safety. Now, for oftentimes when your nervous system, whether we're kids or adults, is sympathetic dominant, that leads us to being really more likely to have bigger responses to the unexpected. It can lead to more meltdowns, more stress, more inflammation, and bigger emotional behaviors. Now, this isn't really necessarily their fault, but we can help them so much, especially if they're sympathetic dominant, be able to tap into the parasympathetics, calm down, and get more rest and relaxation, and be able to have more enjoyment this time of year when we give them the predictability that can lead to calming down their nervous system. And speaking of the nervous system, our third tip is if you're really struggling this time of year with behavior, I would highly recommend seeking out a pediatric chiropractor in your town. Not all chiropractors work with the same demographics. And so it's very important that you're seeking out somebody who has specific training with nervous system-based, brain-based chiropractic for pediatrics. When you're working with somebody who might have these bigger emotional outbursts, struggling with ADHD, struggling with behavior, these kiddos are often really struggling with nervous system regulation. One of the best things about chiropractic is it removes the interference from the nervous system so that these kids are able to calm down and use all aspects of their body. And it helps with their gut, it helps with their brain communication. And it can just be absolutely wonderful, especially with sleep and regulation. So if you guys ever have any questions or you're seeking out somebody great in your town or you're looking for one in this town, feel free to reach out to us. We are here to help in any way possible, and we hope everybody has a wonderful holiday. It's just time to get a little prepared.